All right, now to entertainment news and Rick's review. 17's entertainment expert Rick Bentley joining us in studio every Friday with a new opening. We are now wrapping up the month of April. Summer blockbusters are just around the corner. We're really looking forward to those. But first, what came out today that you wanted to talk about?
Well, I'm going to talk about The Accountant 2. Well, I don't know if it's really The Accountant Squared, because the 2 on the name is a little 2 up at the top. So we're going to call it Accountant 2 because I'm not going to say Accountant Squared.
Right.
You know, this is a sequel to the film that came out 8 years ago. And the first film was kind of mediocre. And so what I'm seeing with this film now is that they didn't learn anything from that one. What this should have been was the equivalent of doing the short form on your taxes. Just get to the main points. You know, a body count is all that really matters. Instead, they do the long form, which has all these complicated subplots with these characters that needed to, you know, that are really dependent on the film. Really, at the end of the day, the film needed a good audit. And I'm going to blame director Gavin O'Connor for this because his pacing is all over the boards. When he gets to the action sequences, it's fine. But when he's not doing that, he's just wearing things down. There's a whole big number where Ben Affleck line dances, which could have been cut out of this thing completely. If those who don't know, Ben Affleck is the accountant. He's a savant that can. He is a bad guy that works for drug cartels doing their books, but he's also an assassin for hire. He gets called in on to solve a mystery of a murder of an acquaintance. He figures he can't do it alone, so he calls on his brother. And you know, it's always better to file jointly than it is to file single. So his brother's played by John Bernthal, who people will know from The Walking Dead and The Punisher. And he's doing the Punisher bit again in this movie. But anyway, the two brothers, when they're not sort of trading quips and quotes, they go off on this mission to solve this murder. But there's also a kidnapping. There's sex trafficking. There's so many things going on here. And again, I think what the problem with the film is, it's just overly complicated. This is the kind of film that needed just to use the John Wick formula. We're going to shoot fast and we're going to talk little. And instead we get this movie that at the end of the time, when I got done with it, it was like sitting through a tax audit. There's a point in a tax audit where you just finally go, just get to the bottom line. Tell me what it is. And they don't get there quick enough. It's still, when you get to the action stuff, it's pretty decent, which gets a B- for me. But again, and it's done by the same director and the same writer as the first Accountant. So we can't say, oh, this was a new group that didn't get it. They didn't understand the concept. No, it's the same people. They just made the same flaws over again and just went for a long form instead of the short form.
So with that, I love a good complicated storyline. Christopher Nolan, you say his name, I'm in, right? Especially for Inception. It's my favorite movie. This didn't hold up to that kind of par where you have all the different characters and the different levels. It was just too complicated.
Well, I'll just give you a quick example. There's a character in this who we find out the back history of it, and it's so convoluted to get this character to where they need to be that you needed to take notes. You needed an atlas to figure out, well, where did this start, where did this end up, and where this character gets to just really doesn't make a lot of sense.
That's frustrating. I don't want to have to take notes if I'm going to a movie.
Exactly, especially in this kind of an action film. A Christopher Nolan film is designed to make you think. These films, The Accountant is not supposed to make you want to do your taxes while you're watching it. You just want to be entertained. And that's what I'm saying. Just cut to the short form. Give me the action.
Okay.